What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Monday's 5-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and our sponsor, Yahoo. Looking forward to talking about them. They have some fantastic stuff for the Super Bowl that you're going to need to check out, but man, this Sunday NBA slate is just a bloodbath for me. Domantas Sabonis didn't even functionally show up to the arena. I hate that he got ruled in. I knew he'd be under 20%. I thought he made a lot of sense as a saver. We saw him come back, after a week absence and played a zillion minutes. Well, it doesn't matter if you come back from an absence and you just completely suck. No Karis LeVert. He got traded to the team that they played and got beat up by. Good for Karis LeVert. Bad for my Pacers exposure. Well, just Domantas Sabonis. That was the only guy I rostered. Ryan, please tell me your night's going better.
I wish I could tell you that. It's not. I just had way too much Brandon Goodwin. He just took the night off, as Rondo showed that he can still ball out, and he was fantastic. So, and we saw I was heavy on the Cleveland guys, and the Cleveland bench is what really stood out. Cedi Osman and Rondo balled out for sure. Just a disappointing night. Just had way too much Goodwin. It's pretty high on Brandon Ingram, so I got that. And then the late night hammer. It's not really a hammer. It's like a late night pillow. Not much is happening in that Clippers and Milwaukee game at this moment. I mean, Giannis is doing his thing, but it's not. He's not gonna. I'm not sure if he's gonna even catch up to Luka. So we'll see how this ends up going.
Yeah, Luka kind of shat the bed a little bit, 53 and change, which for Luka Sanders,
foul calls there. There was some strange sequence of fouls there.
It's weird.
Dallas, yeah. It
was a weird game. Obviously, to get to the top for a lot of these things, if you could have found some of those bench guys, that would have been a definite plus. Our boy Brandon Ingram, it's so beautiful to have him back doing his thing. Put up 63.75 against Houston. That was awesome. Not awesome. Şengün, I thought, could have absolutely destroyed the slate. 25 we got out of him, which is serviceable. Pretty good at 4,100, but not going to win you anything here tonight more than likely. Oh, and I ended up on tons of Reggie Bullock, but yet, because of Domantas Sabonis, you got to get the studs right. And if you get him wrong and he puts up 26.75, you're dead. So I am dead. Hopefully you guys, somebody out there can be on less Sabonis than me and can be absolutely smashing. But while you're at it, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you can know when all of this content here at Awesemo is going live. We're, of course, sponsored by Yahoo. We will talk about them throughout. But Ryan, you ready to get to the analysis of this 5-gamer? My push and P buddy.
That's right.
Yeah, P for pushing the P on your hat. I don't know. P is a weird thing to talk about. I have a newborn dog, and he's just going nuts today. Point guard, let's do this. 10-5 there. Steph Curry, Chris Paul, 9,600. LaMelo Ball, 9,400. I will say this is a pretty interesting slate because you've got some teams like Toronto going up against a fast-paced Charlotte team, Miami going up against a worse Washington team, and obviously could slow that one down. Phoenix up against Chicago, Golden State defensively going up against a bad OKC team, and the Knicks in Utah. All of these games, I don't know what the totals are. I haven't looked at, nothing's available here yet, but I got to assume these are all going to be very low total games. So really identifying, what we're looking at. I don't know how many times I'm going to be, quote unquote, looking to target a certain game on the slate because none of them look that appealing to me. But Steph Curry, Chris Paul, LaMelo Ball all have major upside. I think out of that trio, just at their current prices, hard not to like LaMelo. Steph Curry, 10-5. We know what that ceiling can be, but then you get games like last time out, 7 for 11, 4 for 7 from 3, 7 assists. That's great if you're 5K. It's not great if you're 10-5, 35.75 there for Steph. That's going to happen with Clay and some of these other great pieces, including Andrew Wiggins, all-star starter Andrew Wiggins. We got Devin Booker sub 9K. Obviously, there's some meat on that bone. Fred VanVleet, 8,500 against Charlotte. Probably my favorite guy we've gotten to, period. But now is where it gets very fascinating in the 7K range. We have Mike Conley. We don't know what's going to happen with Clarkson. We have Tyler Hero questionable, which might open up extra time for the likes of Kyler Lowry. I'm not really positive what's going to happen here as far as news. All I know is that this is going to be a very, very strange slate as it stands right now. Talk to me about the top of the guard spot.
Yeah, there's Steph Curry taking on OKC. Steph can definitely be the highest scoring player on the slate. 5-game slate, that's extremely valuable. I think he's a fine spend-up option, even though they're kind of fully back and Clay's around it. I still think Steph can light it up against Oklahoma City. But if you want to spend down, save a little bit to VanVleet and Mitchell, I like those guys than rather going to Chris Paul. But don't get me wrong, Chris Paul has been balling out. as has been LaMelo Ball. But I just think the savings make a little sense there to either fall on Mitch or Van Vliet. Their price tags work out pretty solid. Levine is too expensive for my opinion, 9,300 if he plays. He's dealing with those back spasms, so I would shy away a little bit. Now, in the Toronto-Charlotte matchup, I expect that game to have the highest total in the game. Well, so we might see Terry Rozier get some ownership.
Mm-hmm.
He's all right at 7,100. 3-point bonus for him as he takes a bunch of threes. Now, in the next tier of guards, there's Clay, there's Scotty Barnes is there, then there's Mike Conley. They're all fine tournament options, nothing too exciting. Dinwiddie at 6,200. He's okay. We haven't seen the upside game from him without Beal over the past week. It's a Miami matchup where it's not that great, but it can definitely work out for Spencer Dinwiddie. Now, if you're looking for places to spend down, it's a little difficult. There's not much that sticks out. I mean, the Knicks guys, we saw Emmanuel quickly only play like 5 minutes last game. So I have no idea what's happening with Thibodeau in that rotation as Alec Burks kind of just took those minutes from Kemba Walker and Emmanuel quickly there. It's just like a point guard roulette over there in the Knicks situation. So be aware, but quickly can get 15, 20 minutes, put up 15, 20 fantasy points if he gets hot. But he's a spend down option. There's no one really that sticks out to me sub 4K at this moment. OKC guys are all kind of priced up / priced appropriately. We saw Jerome get the start last game. He's 4,200, but he's got to have to shoot really well to get there. We kind of got lucky last game as he performed and picked up some extra peripheral stats.
I'm with you. Ty Jerome, I like, but probably less so here than last time out for sure. You never really know what you're going to get. I will say it's kind of nice that I think he's the guy who gets the most blowout run out of the guard position, whether you're talking Giddey, Man. I think Ty Jerome would just play in garbage time. Golden State, I'm expecting OKC to be the biggest dogs on the slate as it stands right now. Rightfully so. No Shai Gilgeous, no Aaron Wiggins. Problematic there for OKC to try to keep it close. So I will say, as a result of that, I might like him a little bit anyway. But let's move it over to FanDuel on the top end. And don't forget, this is the trade deadline week. We've got the trade deadline coming up Thursday. It's going to be bonkers. You got to be on high alert with news. Pay attention to stuff. People can get scratched in an instant. Hopefully, you've built up that habit of doing it anyway with late swaps. So just wanted to throw that out there as something to keep an eye on. I think Chicago is a team that could be involved at the deadline. Golden State's a team that could be involved at the deadline. Utah, Miami perhaps might be buyers. I think they might be able to spin some stuff if they want to. A lot of teams on this slate that could be viable, but we're going to be paying attention to that all throughout the week. Chris Paul 10-2, Steph Curry 9,800 on FanDuel, LaMelo 9,200 is pretty darn cheap comparatively there for LaMelo. 8,600 opposed to 8,500 for Fred VanVleet on FanDuel there. So just $100 more. That's going to make him grade out well. Same thing can be said about Donovan Mitchell. Only played those 22 minutes, but was awesome in them. And they blew Brooklyn out of the gym. So I think that minutes upside, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I'll probably plug him in for 32 and figure it out from there. But what's sticking out to you? Oh, Josh Giddey's 6,500 every single day, ending in Y. That's stupid. Talk to me about FanDuel guard.
Yeah, point guard, shooting guard guys. I mean, it's tough for me to pay 10-2 for Chris Paul or 10-4 for DeMar DeRozan. I think I'd rather save to similar guys like Steph, Donovan Mitchell, Van Vliet. I think those guys just stick out better to me. I'm willing to drop 9,600 for Jimmy Butler. I think that's a fine option. I'd rather do 96 for him than DeMar DeRozan. And DeRozan's been playing well. They're on a back-to-back. Levine might return. It's just a lot of indications for me to just shy away a little bit. But you mentioned there's two 6,500 guys I think we can target. Both Giddey and Terry Rozier stick out at their price tags, both at 6,500. No issues if you fall on one of them. Now the next tier, guys, there's Kyle Lowry, 5,600. I think you can definitely go to him if there's no Tyler Hero. It could help out. He might get an extra few minutes sprinkled his way. Another guy to take your chances on, Spencer Dinwiddie, sub 6K. We saw RJ Barrett ball out at 6,400. It's a Utah matchup now. We saw Barrett kind of put up a career game against the Lakers, so I don't expect that to repeat. But I think $5,200 Gordon Hayward, man, that's way too cheap for Gordon Hayward, I think. I know he was awful last time out. kind of the whole Charlotte team was disappointing in that second half, but 5,200 Gordon Hayward just too damn cheap, I think, right? I mean, that's you got to definitely take your chances there. And outside of that, there's no super cheap options that really stick out to me, even sub 5K on FanDuel. That kind of means FanDuel's doing a good job with pricing. Usually some guy sticks out to me sub 5K. No one really is sticking out to me at this moment.
Ty Jerome. I think 4,200. You got to be willing to take that shot, I think. Played 26 minutes still. You talked about some of the peripheral stats, 6 assists and 2 steals. I just think, once again, he probably is the one guy who stays on the floor in a blowout amongst that guard position at OKC. And, they're 14-point, 16-point dogs, whatever they end up being here in this spot. It's going to be a large spread. And with Dort, if he's going to be out, you've really got to be looking his way. If Dort's in, I don't think we necessarily have to go there as much, but still viable, I think, on a 5-game slate where we'll see where the ownership ends up coming in on it. But Paul Watson sure ain't it. Just throwing it out there. Let's go to the Yahoo slate here on guard, top end of our sponsor, Steph Curry, 44. That's pretty cheap. I feel like that tag has started to come down to an appropriate level here, and you're going to have nobody on this slate over $44. So I think that's pretty fascinating considering some of the stars and scrubs $50 plus tags that we've been paying of late for the likes of Doncic, Embiid, Jokic, all of them off of this slate. Chris Paul's there at 40. I'm going through Devin Mitchell, probably a little expensive at $37 compared to some of the other sites. Probably prefer to get my exposure on him elsewhere, but probably the one spot that I would want to play this guy in the event that there's no Levine. In the event that there is no, I don't know, there's a lot of people who are hurt. Because of your smile, I know exactly where I'm going with this. Is it IO season at $20 on Yahoo?
No, it's not IO season.
Why not?
I'm not about it. I'd rather save the $10 and go to Jerome, or save the $8 and go to Trey Mann. I know Io's been playing well. Don't get me wrong.
He didn't play well today, but that's fine.
He played well on Friday, and that was one of the nights I happened to roster him. So
for one, Ryan.
And I'll take my tickets and I'll leave it at that. So, but spending up here, guys like Mitchell, Van Vliet, Chris Paul, and Steph Curry. Yet again, it just seems a lot of sense to just save. Oh, LaMelo Ball is 35. Yeah, I think going to Mitchell, LaMelo Ball, and Van Vliet make a lot more sense than spending up here. Next year, guys, Gideon Rozier. Rozier's cheap. His price is falling to 26. No issues going to him or Conley. Klay Thompson's definitely played $19. I'd rather play Klay Thompson against OKC than I'd do against Io against Phoenix. I know you get 10 less minutes, but Klay Thompson has massive upside in limited minutes still. So he showed that against the Kings, and OKC is a far worse team than the Kings. That's kind of ridiculous to even mention. But looking back, there's not much guys. I mean, the OKC guards are pretty cheap in Trey Mann and Ty Jerome. I think in terms of blowout run, I mean, we can see Trey Mann and Jerome, even Giddy get some just because this team is shorthanded. They're playing a lot of their backups in their starting lineup. So, yeah, I just think it's just a full run. It's just a depleted Oklahoma City team. And I believe Mike Muscala is also questionable as well. So there's a lot of minutes just to be floated around if all those guys are out.
We'll talk about Diakite as well to go along with his former college teammate Ty Jerome there. They're hanging out in OKC. Probably not much else to do but play basketball there, that's for sure. But Ty Jerome, $10. Teo Maledon did get recalled, obviously, from the G League and played what? He's been playing the last couple games here sparingly, but played 23 minutes. That was a season high of minutes there for him. Or did I speak correctly? No, he played 28 minutes on November 1st. But hey, it's been a second since then. You know what else, though? If you guys haven't had a chance, this is what you need to do and it all takes 1 second. Sign up over at Yahoo. $10 or more, play in any paid contest, and you get 1 free month of Awesemo plus Platinum. That's every sport behind the paywall. NBA, NFL for the Super Bowl. Yeah, we're going to have content all week long. Make sure you're tuning into that. We have PGA. NASCAR started back up here again today. Didn't go well for me, but you know what? It was fun to have that sweat. Golf was obviously a great sweat. You can check out all of our great content that we have here behind the paywall. Some of it by yours truly, but you want to be taking advantage of this offer immediately. So stop guessing, start winning. Join us at Awesemo, but do it through this promotion with our sponsor, Yahoo. the place with the best raked contests. We're talking 10 to 12% for pretty much all their contests, sometimes rake-free stuff. There's overlay from time to time. Best site you can possibly play per dollar, no doubt about it. Yahoo, go play and enjoy. You're welcome, everybody. To the forward spot we go. Top end on DraftKings. We're looking at DeMar DeRozan, 9,800. This is where it gets fun. Jimmy Butler, questionable. Zach LaVine, questionable. Both of those games, well, I guess just the one for Miami, they start at 7 p.m. Eastern, but then 8 p.m. Eastern time, you might have to make some educated decisions or, just be pivoting and have some swaps in mind for what you plan to do if Zach LaVine is ruled out here as well. But Bradley Beal continues to be out there for Washington, which means Kuzma at 7,400. You know what I do. I roster him. He only played 24 minutes. They played terrible. I mean, terrible as a team against Phoenix, but Phoenix can do that against teams, and so can Miami. But I feel like going back to the Kuzma well at 7,400, but I don't want to go besmirch 8,800 Julius Randle. We didn't talk too much about RJ Barrett. Career night for him. I don't really know if I want to go back to the well there, but I think 8,800 Julius Randle, if there's going to be no Gobert, if it's going to be even Hassan Whiteside out there trying to play defense on somebody, Julius Randle, nice to see him return to his 2021 form, at least for one night in Lakerville. Talk to me about the top end of forward on DraftKings.
Yeah, top end of forwards, it's got a lot of options. There's DeMar, there's Zach LaVine. Both those two guys are too expensive for my liking. I'd rather save a little and go to Siakam or Randle. Makes a lot more sense to do so. Kuzma comes in at 74. The upside's there. Miami matchup kind of doesn't help him out, but OG Anunoby is another option at 7,300. Just these Toronto guys just play a ton of minutes, so there's a lot of ways to get there. So Scotty Barnes even 6 out at 6,900. RJ Barrett, I'd shy away with the 7K price tag coming off a career night. Looking a little bit lower in this tier. There's not much that sticks out to me as we get a little lower. The next guy who's been playing well when given the minutes now is in OKC is Darius Bazley, comes in at 5,400. That's a fine option to take some chances on. If you fall on him, I have no issues if you go to him. Now, another guy you can sprinkle in a Chicago matchup, I think Jay Crowder is going to be asked to just play a ton of wing minutes. At 4,100, where there's 3-point bonus, you can definitely take some chances on Jay Crowder. Look, it's a rough position on forward with the lack of value at this moment, and not many teams on a back-to-back just because a lot shorter games on the slate. I think just keeping an eye on finding some guys who have sneaky upside, I think Crowder could be definitely one of those guys.
Love it. I just saw Lovie Smith is in talks to be the Houston Texans head coach.
Yeah.
Whoa. Haven't seen that name for a long time. Obviously, he was with the Bears forever. That's just crazy. I didn't even know. I'm just glad they're not hiring Josh McCown. He is not knowledgeable of the game of football. Lovie Smith, you're a Lions fan, not Bears, right?
Lovie Smith was coach the Illini for some time, I think.
That's right. He was pretty good with them, wasn't he?
He had a big upset win, I think. But other than that, I think a losing coach over there.
Well, that's going to happen in the Big Ten. Kind of tough, especially in Illinois. Like, good luck. Good luck recruiting over Michigan. Good luck recruiting over Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State especially. He did coach the Buccaneers, I think, before.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if it was right before Bruce Arians, but he was definitely there for some time.
I remember that too. Just anyway, that was a name that I hadn't seen in forever, and I just kind of got froze by that for a second. Good thing. Let's hire more minorities, I tell you that much. The one black head coach right now, that's absurd. It's a sport that's predominantly black. Let's figure that out. Anyway, that's a different podcast for a different day. Let's head to the FanDuel position here, top end. I'm looking at some guys here in DeMar DeRozan, 10-4. DeMar DeRozan's 10-4, Ryan. What do we even do with that? 10-4? 10-4. 9,600 Jimmy Butler here. We're looking 9,700 Pascal Siakam, power forward only. Julius Randle, 9,500. That is fascinating as well. 9,400 Bam Adebayo. I mean, they have aggressively priced up some of these dudes that aren't named Kyle Kuzma because he remains 8,200. So that's just a trap. But I got to say, the one guy who just screams, play me, and I know it's going to suck, and I know he's going to be popular, Miles Bridges is 7K. We just click on that a lot, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to fall on Bridges. And kudos to FanDuel, they've priced a lot of these guys appropriately, especially the Toronto guys with those minutes. And Bam Adebayo has been playing well. But I like spending 9,600 for Jimmy Butler, even at the small forward spot. And Bridges is a great option at 7K. It's tough not to love that. I think looking around at this price tag, Andrew Wiggins, 6,700 in a matchup versus Oklahoma City. He's been playing well after he was named an All-Star, so no issues if you follow on him. If Tyler Hero goes, I like 6,300 Tyler Hero a decent amount. Now the next tier, guys, it gets gross really fast. You got guys, Kevon Looney, priced similar to Evan Fournier, Javonte Green. Good Lord. I think I'd rather just take my chances with Fournier out of all those guys, to be honest. Javonte Green doesn't really carry much upside, and Kevon Looney, I can't roster him at $1,500. No way. He did have his birthday, I think, today. So
hey, happy birthday, Kevon.
Yeah, so he might be hungover in OKC, maybe, or unless if the game's at home. So we'll see.
But if he was drinking in his hotel room.
Yeah, but I think there's a spend down option in Mamadi Diakite coming in at $3,900. Makes a lot of sense to fall in there. Keep in mind, Alexa Pokacheski is back in the mix. He's been getting minutes there. He's also 4K. Baisley's 5,300. So one of these OKC guys are just going to get a ton of minutes. Baisley will get his minutes there, but the combination of Pokacheski and Diakite, one of those guys can definitely do well. And Gordon Hayward, we touched on him earlier, 5,200. Tough not to love him.
Can we play Chris Boucher at 4,600?
We can definitely, you can take your chances on him.
Yeah,
I think Bogdanovich is 5,100. He's someone who is he's pretty cheap. So I like going to Bogdanovich of Utah.
Yeah. And Baisley is going to continue to be popular. They're 5,300 above him. So both of them make some sense. Let's head to our sponsor, Yahoo Top End. Butler, $44, questionable. DeMar DeRozan, 41. Really, really intriguing if you get Zach LaVine out there for sure. Miles Bridges, 32. Kuzma, 32. Randall, 32. That's kind of an interesting little tier considering think of how differently their prices play out on the other two sites. Hard not to love Julius Randle when all other things are equal between those three. Play Bridges at 7K over on FanDuel. Play Kuzma at 7,400 over on DK. And play Randle on Yahoo. Look, I just did all of your work for you guys. Do that. But what sticks out to you at the forward position here, Ryan, on our sponsor, Yahoo?
Yeah, our sponsor, Yahoo, looking at the forward spot. If Butler goes, he's fine, but you get a lot of savings on going to guys like Julius Randle at 32. Miles Bridges is also 32. Really like Randle at 32. Kuzma's fine at $32 as well. There's a trio of those 32 players, and I think one of them could be the key to the slate. Looking at the next tier, we got guys like Andrew Wiggins, Scotty Barnes. I have no issues if you fall on one of those guys either. I really don't have much interest in paying up for other guys around there. I think Mikal Bridges is way too damn expensive at $23 for that upset. I think I'd rather spend up a little bit. But there's some solid spend down options here as well. You can go to Rudy Gay at $10 if he goes. There's KCP at 13. There's Kenrich Williams at 10. Pokacheski is also 10. Baisley is priced appropriately at $18. I'd rather save and go to Boucher or spend up and go to Gordon Hayward for $16 and $20 respectively. It's all going to come down to if Lou Dort if he's in or out. If he's out, even more value in OKC. Like I said, Kenrich Williams would appeal even more for sure.
Absolutely. Let's round this out. Center position over on DraftKings. Vooch is 10-1. Yo, Vooch is 10-1 on DraftKings. It's a big number. I wasn't ready for that. Pascal Siakam, 9,200. Pay him out of bio, 9K. Starting to get up to the place where he belongs there. Putting up big numbers already in his return here. DeAndre Ayton, 7,200. That's going to be popular. But what's really going to be popular for me, I'm a glutton for punishment. I can't imagine that Azubuike starts. I can't. Not in a world where Hassan Whiteside was able to play 24 minutes and be serviceable. Please, God, Hassan Whiteside, do not have any news about him. Make it seem as though it's going to be Azubuike all day. And then Hassan Whiteside, drop that starting line at 15 minutes before because I will have so much of him at 6K. It's painful. Probably my favorite tournament slate on the entire slate on DraftKings. Are you with me, Ryan?
Yeah, I have no issues if you fall on Whiteside. I'd like him to start as well to have more confidence in his minutes. He got blowout run against the Nets. It's kind of how far Whiteside has fallen. But and then Udoka came in towards the end for him. So interesting rotation. We'll see what ends up happening with that starting lineup. Yeah, Vooch is 10-1. I don't have much interest in going there. I'd rather save and go to guys like Bam or Pascal Siakam. Save even a little more and go to DeAndre Ayton. Opportunity cost on center is nothing too much. We don't get those stud centers. So if you want to spend down a guy like Mamadou Diakite, that's fine at 3,700. You can catch an upside with a guy like Mitchell Robinson with the blocks, more of a FanDuel Yahoo play, but if he stays out of foul trouble, the minutes will be there. If Udoka Azubuike starts, it's not that necessary to go there. I think I'd rather pay up for more safer option than a guy like Diakite. But outside of that, center kind of sucks on this slate. I mean, we got Dan Gafford enter health and safety protocol, so it's going to be a two-man center show in Tom Bryant and Montrezl Harrell. So one of those guys could definitely work out. So I prefer Harrell to Tom Bryant, but Tom Bryant's pretty cheap at $3,400, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's just so hard. I don't know at those minutes. We got to get those things up. Get him up. Get him up for Thomas Bryant here. He's just been what did he play last game?
I don't know what he played last
Thomas Bryant played 17 minutes in the start against Phoenix, 10 fantasy points. We got to get him to like 2022, but again, he's 3,400. Yeah, I'll probably get to a little bit. Let's go to center over on FanDuel 10-5. Holy mother of God, Vooch. That's, I guess, what happens when you start, Barbara Walters 2020 everywhere, just absolutely all over the place. I did that one today for Matt LaMarca. Totally stole it from you. Didn't even tell him. I just said, yeah, I came up with that. He's like, that's so great. Like Matt LaMarca thinks I'm a G now, but I'm definitely not. Ryan is. Let's do the rest of the position. I stole that from you. I just want to give you props. DeAndre
that's not my bit either. I've stolen that from someone else as well.
Oh, good. So go us. Just thieves in the night. Hassan Whiteside 6,300. I'm obviously going to like that. 8 and 7,600. Weird. I think both of them are underpriced on both DraftKings and FanDuel, so that should be interesting. Plumlee's 5,400 and has been playing the bulk of the minutes until this weird game against Miami that I don't want to read too much into, but I'm just yawning on our show because this is what happens when you have a puppy. I need sleep. Ryan, talk to me about center on FanDuel.
Yeah, looking at the center spot on FanDuel, it's a one spot, so you got to nail it. And it seems a lot of sense to spend up for a guy like Bam at 9,400 in a Washington matchup. 10-5 Vooch will be very contrarian. I don't know if I want to spend up for that. He'll be contrarian low owned. Julius Randle got the price hike to 9,500. Will also be pretty contrarian option. So that just leads to guys like Ayton and Whiteside getting a ton of ownership. So I have no issues if you fall on one of those guys. Those guys definitely have upside, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to spend up right now because the value when you get a little lower, I think you can definitely sprinkle in some Mitch Robb at 6K. Very contrarian option there, but the blocks upside is available. Montrezl Harrell is sub 5K. I think you can take your chances at 4,900. You're just looking for him to potentially get you to mid to high 20s on this type of slate just because of how poor center is. You don't need them to super smash their value, but if you find the one guy who does, you're going to be jumping the field by a lot.
Yes, you are. Let's try to do it on our sponsor, Yahoo, to round it out. Vooch, $42. Best site probably to play him on comparably. Pascal Siakam, identical, 42. Bam to 35, 8 and 26. Whiteside, 23. Oh, man. Ayton and Whiteside once again. Pretty cheap guys. Your boy Harrell, $15 we're looking at there. I like that a little bit more than I like $16 Kevon Looney. But Mason Plumlee, $16 has been playing more minutes as late. I kind of alluded to that as well. I don't really know if I want to be going below that number. Doesn't really see. I don't see anything under $15 I want. Do you?
Under $15. Diakite's $10.
I didn't see him there. He's second to last. Yeah, he's definitely viable.
Yeah, I think Diakite is $10 you can take your chances on. Center, man, it doesn't seem like a double center slate on Yahoo. But guys like Ayton at 26, he definitely stands out in Whiteside. If he starts at 23, you can definitely roll him out. It's just a rough center slate on this 5-gamer. So maybe news will change things, but I don't know what news we can really expect for it to change that much. We're going to have to see what happens in Washington and what that minute split will look like tomorrow against this Miami team. But tough center slate, and it's going to be really important to nail that down.
Yes, it is. Guys, first one in the books for the new week here. I believe trade deadline Thursday. That's going to be crazy. I think we had content for that last year. We'll see. I know Josh Engelman did a trade deadline show. It was awesome. I hope he's doing it again here. We shall see. Maybe we'll drop a DM and see if he's actually putting that on, because I don't want to I don't want to, say that we're going to do something that we're not, but I know it's a very fun week. Be on high alert with news constantly throughout it, because you never know who's going to get shipped somewhere. I have a feeling, last year's did not disappoint. I felt like there were a lot of trade deadlines that had been disappointing up until last year. Last year's was epic. I think this one could be epic as well. Ryan, any final words for the people?
No, please do leave those 5-star reviews. Those go a long way. The more 5 stars we get, the more potential Yahoo sponsored contests we get. So, yeah, NBA trade deadline is always fun. I mean, it's 4 days away, 3 p.m. Thursday. It's going to be an exciting trade deadline. We'll see if Ben Simmons gets traded. We'll see if CJ McCollum gets traded. Do you have any bold takes for the NBA trade deadline?
I think this Ben Simmons, James Harden thing has to go through. I think it does. And I've come to that realization over last week. That's what I'm getting. Like, last year wasn't like the most eventful thing ever. I mean, it just was fascinating.
There's an all-star traded in Vooch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Vooch trade was gigantic, but like didn't have ramifications on that year. It has ramifications on this year for sure. But there were some big dominoes that fell, and I think that we're going to see even bigger things this year because some of the names you said. McCollum, we're talking about Eric Gordon from Houston, maybe not a premier name, but definitely guys who can be role players on these winning caliber teams. Let's see if Philadelphia can get some help. James Harden would definitely be that. But
what's your no way? I don't think James Harden gets traded at the trade deadline. No way.
Okay.
No.
Do you think Brooklyn's just not willing to part with this core?
Yeah, no chance. Who are you going to get better than James Harden to join that team?
I don't know, but if James Harden doesn't want to play like he hasn't the last 2-3 games, and
I think he's actually hurt.
You think he's actually hurt?
No, he's actually hurt. Yeah,
that's fair. Again, I don't know what's going on, but it feels like, it just feels like
they just haven't had the chemistry. They just need to play together, and they'll be fine, is my opinion. But yeah, we're gonna see like Dennis Schroeder, Eric Gordon, those type of players get traded quite a bit this week, and then we'll see if the Pistons part ways with Jeremy Grant. I think that a lot of people have indicated him as like a key piece in the trade, so key piece of the trade deadline. But we'll see some random guys get traded as well.
Yeah, people got to remember contracts are a thing. Jeremy Grant, not exactly the cheapest contract to move and to make things work. Obviously, today's trade, Karis LeVert, bigger contract, but you're able to get rid of a Ricky Rubio expiring. That helps a lot of people in a lot of ways. So many fun things about this week that you just don't get any other week in the NBA. So looking forward to it. Ryan, thank you so much, as always. Any final words for the people?
No, good luck, guys, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
All right, he's Ryan. He's pushing P. I'm Eric. I'm pushing the wrong kind of P. I'll tell you that much. We'll see you guys later. That was a dog joke.